Metacritic Roundup.
A few things came out this week. We've actually got a decent list here. Let's start with the one that I think I have the least amount to say. I'll be curious what you have to say about this. We got Madden NFL 22. Shouldn't this be 23?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Madden NFL 23. Came out for, PlayStation and Xbox, and it's on PC. In terms of scores, the game on PS5 has gotten a 65, and on Xbox Series X, a 73. Not scoring particularly well, but it is also, it's scoring about as well as Madden games have over recent years. I think people seem to be upset with the general lack of innovation over these games, and the fact that I think people are really starting to, money has become very tight, and money has kind of changed over the past few years, and people are maybe a little less interested in buying the same exact video game year after year after year, especially when you look at games like, Warzone or Fortnite even, or things like that, which are just constantly updating, which I feel like Madden could probably do, or like these sports franchises could probably do, but that's just my thoughts. How do you feel about it?
I think you're essentially paying for a roster update every year.
Agreed.
I think one of the cool things that I like, so I'm a pretty big football fan. Never been a football video game fan. I just feel like there's just too much going on. But with when they release the player rankings, it becomes like constant conversation throughout the NFL. Like, oh, this player is rated as 100. This player is rated as a 62. And they rank all that kind of stuff. And I just think that's a fun moment of Madden. But the gameplay itself,
sure,
it's just, it's Madden. Madden is Madden. Football, video games are football video games. But I think the score is not necessarily indicative of the quality of the game.
No.
It's more just that it's the same game with not super changes. Last year, for Madden 22, when that came out, it was like, it's the same game, but it's on next gen. This one, it's like, it's the same game and still on next gen. So,
right.
And the user scores for it are currently chilling at a 1.9 on the PS5. So
and a 2.9 on Xbox Series X, Justin. Yeah. People are freaking loving this thing over on the Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, basically the user scores are all the same. I mean, of just like...
So I just clicked on a review here. It says this review contains spoilers, which is odd for a football game.
You'll never guess who's on the Tigers this year.
But yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, nothing. It's not a spoiler review, but it did make me click on it. So mission successful, clickbait. Mission successful.
And they got Mr. John Madden on the cover now, right? Because didn't he pass away this year or last year?
I believe it was last year. But that's also like blessing in disguise too. For not that he passed away, but the fact that
the player isn't on there, right? Because isn't that always like not a curse, but like
the Madden curse.
People don't do well. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I mean it's not always true, but like there is that like context around it.
Yeah. Up next, we got Kirby's Dream Buffet. I didn't know this came out. I'll be honest with you. Not scoring super well. It's at a 63. It's on the Switch. It's like a Fall Guys-esque Kirby party game. Looks interesting enough as a combination of sort of something like Fall Guys and Mario Party, but with a Kirby flavor, no pun intended. But not scoring super well, but it also, I don't know if this is the sort of thing that would. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so I looked at this. I think the game is like $14.99 online. And from what people seem to be saying about the review, is just a little bit feature light, some bug issues with it. Nintendo really not known for having deep multiplayer systems, and not known for having online or technical clarity, I guess. So not shocked by any of that. But I mean, it's if you're looking for another little like couch co-op or online kind of game, I think you can play with up to 4 players. Maybe, but I'll wait. I did think this game was going to be free. Unfortunately,
I did too. I guess I missed that it wasn't.
Yeah. So hey, reviews keep pouring in with this. It came out, but I think a lot of the major outlets didn't get it until like the last minute. So it'll probably adjust slightly, but I don't expect it to be much better than this.
That makes sense. I mean, like a 63, like I said, like we're saying, like that seems about on brand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Up next here, we got Soul Hackers 2, which on Xbox Series X scored a 79, on PC a 72, on PS4 75, and on PS5 a 77. So in the mid 70s here, upper mid 70s. People are saying that this. I watched a lot of reviews for this because I was interested in it, and people are saying like it is like if you took a lot of stuff out from Persona, but not quite focus. But you don't quite focus on the combat and mechanics like you do in like the mainline Shin Megami Tensei series. But like you didn't like add anything else. So people are saying it's a little like it feels a little undercooked and like it just doesn't have a whole lot of
It's
excellent
underbaked.
fresh ideas.
Underbaked.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Hollywood. From you know what I'm talking about? What's his name? John.
Great
Paul
British
Hollywood.
Bake Off. Paul Hollywood.
Yes.
The Simon Cowell of British baking.
All right, not to derail this at all, but we have so much news to talk about, and we are like spending way so much time talking about other shit. You ever watch Great British Bake Off?
Oh yeah, every episode.
I stopped watching. Me and Elena were like on a hot streak right when it like really started popping off across the pond here, you know?
Yeah.
And there was like the most recent season at the time, so it was 2019. So whatever season that was, maybe like 6 or 7. We just hated so much. We just hated everyone on it. It was the first season that they were.
They had the new hosts, right?
No. It was they shifted things to be a little bit more like dramatic. It felt like they were like, oh, we're seeing that this is popping off in America. Like, let's make this a little bit more like American competition shows. So like, you know, they had like people are crying every episode and like all this sort of stuff. And like I actually read that the old hosts of the show would say really, really explicit swear words in front of the cameras anytime people were crying so that they couldn't use the footage.
Oh.
So that they couldn't like.
That's actually great.
That's awesome, right? But like the show just took this turn. But what I'm trying to say is this whole thing about Paul Hollywood's handshake. I get that it's a big deal, but the fact that like it is such a big deal to shake this guy's hands, just like who are you? I know that you're like a big shot. Like you're a big shot. Like I get it. But this whole thing about like the currency of the handshake just fucks me up, is what I'm saying.
Well, I do have to say, he starts to give those away like
That's
nothing
what I'm saying.
eventually.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
it's
the
like,
first season, it was like, oh my God, he really liked that. But then it was just kind of like, oh, I like that. A good crunch. Like everything. You just handshaking left and right.
Yes, agreed, 100%. Anyway, Soul Hackers 2, I will be picking this up eventually. I think I want to finish Xenoblade first before diving into this, but I don't know if this is a game that I'm going to finish because I've 60 hours ish for a game that people are saying is like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just fine. It's just fine. Yeah, I mean, 60 hours of a video game. That's a lot of time.
It's a tall order for something that's just like, all right.
Yeah.